Hi everyone, you tuned into another one of our cooking editions. We're going to be preparing another chicken dish. Only today we're going to be making chicken stew with veggies and dumplings. It's a cold, rainy day. Both the babies are not feeling well, so I think a hearty chicken stew with dumplings is exactly what they need. Okay, so I've got half an onion just cut up there, some nice fresh thyme, rinsed and dried. I've got cumin or jeera seeds, a whole garlic sliced, some diced garlic and some crushed ginger and garlic. I like fresh ginger and garlic obviously for the medicinal values and the fact that it's just so good, you know, when you've got a cold and you're trying to beat off the flu. Definitely wholesome and nutritious. So I've got some frozen peas and some frozen green beans. I would have preferred fresh veggies, but yeah, I didn't have any. But this is 3 carrots that's been peeled and chopped up, fresh carrots, and then my de-skinned and cut up chicken. So I'm using a deep pot today, obviously to get some gravy and some dumplings going. And I'm going to be using the organic virgin coconut oil and pure butter ghee to braise. So about a tablespoon of pure butter ghee, and oh, the coconut's gotten hard because of the cold weather, and about a tablespoon of coconut oil. So I'm going to let that just melt in the pot, and then I'll add my onions and fresh garlic. Okay, so I'm going to add my onions and, well, basically all the ingredients on this plate. That's just the kids in the background. They're indoors because it's raining, so trying to keep them occupied. So I'm going to let my onion and garlic brown before I add the chicken. So my onions and the garlic has browned up nicely. I'm going to now add my chicken. I'm going to just give the chicken a stir. So I'm going to just add about a tablespoon of pink Himalayan salt and let the chicken brown, probably for about 20 minutes. So all of the water is coming out of the chicken while it's cooking. I'm going to wait for it to dry up before I add my dry spices. So my chicken has browned up nicely. So as you can see, it's dried up nicely as well. So I'm going to add my jeera powder and cinnamon powder. So that's about half a tablespoon of jeera powder. Add a little bit more. About half a tablespoon of cinnamon powder. And about half a teaspoon of Hearty turmeric powder. So I'm going to just give it a nice stir. And I'll probably let that fry up a bit for about another 10 minutes. My chicken's nice and brown, so I'm going to be adding the veggies to the pot. In goes the peas, then the carrots, and lastly the green beans. Just give that a bit of a mix. Nice and hearty, lots of veggies, nutritious for the kids especially. They're not well. I'm going to then pour some boiling water, about, I'd say, a cup and a half. Okay, that looks more like 2 cups, but anyway, I want a nice gravy, especially for the dumplings to be able to cook through. So I'm going to let this simmer for another 20 minutes, and in the meantime, I'm going to get started with the dumpling batter. So unfortunately, due to the bad weather, our electricity has just gone off. I'm going to quickly try and make a batch of my dumplings and put it in so that it can steam. So to make my dumplings, I'm going to just use a cup of cake flour. Any type of flour would do. I'm using Golden Cloud cake flour. You'll need some fresh milk, some baking powder, butter, salt, black pepper, and thyme. So I'm going to just pour my flour in here. That's 1 cup. I'm going to add, it's about a teaspoon of baking powder. Then just a dash of thyme or mixed herbs just to give it flavor. It's just so frustrating with the electricity going on and off all the time. So a pinch of salt. I also ground some black pepper in there. I'm going to just mix it up a bit. And probably about a tablespoon of soft or melted butter. Okay, so I'm going to mix this now with my hands. Well, knead it. Okay, so I've kneaded the dough or sort of mixed it with my hands, and now I'm going to add a cup of milk. I use an egg beater to mix it up to ensure that there's no lumps. So basically just mix it up like this. If you feel that you need to add more flour, you can, but you need to get a dough-like consistency. So I'm going to just mix this and see if I need to add more flour. So I'm happy with the consistency of this batter, this dough batter. I'm going to let it rest a bit. I was going to put it in the pot, but obviously now there's no electricity. So I'm going to let it rest and hope that the electricity comes back on soon. And yeah, once we put it in the pot, it cooks for about 20 minutes. And then we'll have a nice hearty pot of stew with dumplings. So our lights are finally back on. The stew is sizzling away, and I'm going to add my dumplings. The dumplings have been resting for over an hour, so I'm going to just scoop up some. Let's see, hopefully this is enough. Well, I'll use the small ones for the kids. They'll enjoy it. So you just literally scoop it up and place it in the pot like that. Okay, there we are. So there's my dumplings in the pot. I'll let it simmer for about 20 minutes or until it's cooked right through and nice and fluffy. Okay, so my dumplings look like they've cooked through. So there you have it, wholesome chicken and veggie stew and dumplings.